Hey, thanks for tuning in. So today's arrangement is in standard tuning and it's in the time signature of 7/8. So some of you might already know the iconic bass line, which is so what I'm doing, I add in the bass line, I add in the Hammond organ, and I add in a beat to sort of complement that, and then eventually I add the vocals over the top. Now to start off, obviously let's get our guitar in tune. So okay, so to be able to play this as a fingerstyle track, you're going to have to play the iconic bass line with hammer-ons with your left hand. So it will go something like this. Okay, so you might also have to use your pinky. So if you don't have the calluses built up on that, I would just keep practicing that over and over. Again, slow equals smooth equals fast. So okay, and once you've got that comfortable and the sound is coming through and the clarity is there, we then add in the Hammond organ part. So if we start the first note on the A string 2nd fret, okay, then our 2nd and 3rd finger are going to go down on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and the 3rd finger is going to go on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, so the B string, and that is the Hammond organ part there. Okay, then our little finger then goes up to the D string 4th fret, so 4th string, so we've got, okay, so then we come back to our 1st finger, so okay, then we move our 1st finger up to the top string on the 2nd fret. We keep our 2nd, 3rd finger in the same position and we play them at the same time. Okay, so we've got, then you can either move your 2nd finger or your little finger, whatever finger, up to the 5th fret here. So we've got, okay, I tend to move my 3rd finger up to there. Then you put your 1st finger down on the A string 2nd fret and you play that along with the 2nd, 3rd finger at the same time. So what I do is I put my middle finger on the A string 5th fret and my 3rd finger on the B string 5th fret at the same time. Okay, so you've got, then, whilst you're getting that around the loop, you then add percussion. Now there is lots of different variations that go in with this iconic riff, but I won't go into too much now. If you do want an extra tutorial, you can contact me at www.johnhartmusic.com. But so, the percussion part. Now, the original has almost like a 4/4 beat, a constant beat, so. But to me, when you strip it down for an acoustic, to me it was just going to sound really vanilla and really beige because you don't have all those extra layers like the original track does. So what I've done, I turned it into a reggae beat, which you kind of wouldn't know when you're playing it with the sing and everything over the top, but actually it just added another flavour, another dimension to it. So it'd be like this. Just adds that sort of, you can sit back on the beat and the groove. So we've got now, everyone has a different way of explaining and describing what this sort of percussive fingerstyle is. I tend to think the guitar sounds more like sort of South American percussion rather than drums, but for explaining it, it's easier to say bass drum and snare drum and scratching and things as well. So I tend to use my bass drum around here. I use this part here to get the bass drum. So, and then obviously our snare around here. Okay, so boom, boom. Now, I tend to use my thumb in between the bass drum and the snare to give a slight variation. It almost sounds like a tom. Okay, so you've got bass, bass, thumb, snare, bass, bass, thumb snare. Then I move my right hand over, so I designed this little scratch pad here. I call it a Guerrero pad, because I've got a scratch bit here. It's inspired by an incredible guitarist called Thomas Lieb, but then I decided to add a little bit extra on here with a Guerrero ridge to get that consistency every time. Okay, so, and I vary that. So the first time around, okay, I stroke my finger down the nail and then back up with the tissue side of the finger. And then the next time, okay, 2 different variations. Now, if you don't have a scratch pad, what you can do is cut out a bit of paper here, and if you don't want to damage the guitar, try and find a nice adhesive or something like that that will be able to stick it on. I've got a bit of gloss around here, so I can put a bit of tape around there. Just trial and error, okay? But if you want something built like this, get in contact with me. There is an awesome guitar luthier down in Kent, in Maidstone, in the UK, called AJ Williams Guitars, and he actually built this for me and sanded it and put it into place and things as well. So there's a little pitch there for my good man Alan. So, okay, then we go on to trying to combine the two. Okay, so what I do is I break the riff up into 2 parts. So the first bit. So once we've hammered down our first finger, we're going to do 2 bass drums with our right hand. So you play the first note at the same time, followed by another bass drum. Okay, so then we play the Hammond organ part there on its own. Okay, then when we come back to our little finger on the D string 4th fret, that's when our thumb's going to kick in, and then we go back to our first finger on the A string 2nd fret, and that's the snare. So slower. Okay, and then we move our first finger up to the E string 2nd fret, and our 2nd and 3rd finger on the bottom 2 strings, and you play them all at the same time by hammering down, and you're going to do 2 bass drums again. So then you move your little finger up to the 5th fret on the E string, and then in between the 5th fret on the E string and your first finger on the A string 2nd fret, with your 2nd and 3rd finger down on the E and B string, okay, you're going to play your thumb. So it goes, so it sounds like this. Okay, so all together. Alright, and then we end with your 2nd finger on the 5th fret of the A string, your 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the B string, and you do a scratch. So thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this arrangement and you want to learn more, please head over to my website at www.johnhartmusic.com. On the store page you can find the tabs and you can find a Skype bundle, and get in contact and we can do more of this arrangement along with the singing over the top. If you'd like to see more videos, please click on the top link in the description or the comments page and donate whatever you like. So until next time, keep practicing, keep perfecting, and keep performing, and I'll see you at the next video. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.